Hi, grade 3. We're going to be doing some reading together now, so make sure you've got your weekly reading ready for English. Try and read along with me, so if there are some words perhaps you're struggling with, me saying them out loud will help you to understand them. The story is called Firebird. It was originally written to be performed as a ballet, a dance with live music from a band accompanying it. But it's now very well known as a story that's read all over the world. It's set in Russia in the early 20th century, and perhaps a bit before. There's also some fantastical elements, things that perhaps aren't from the real world. And one of the main characters is the Tsar. And a Tsar is a Russian emperor. So that's one of the new words you'll learn from reading today. Chapter 1. Many years ago, there lived a rich and powerful Tsar. Tsar Vislav had 3 sons, each very different to the other 2. Tsar Vislav had something else precious to him too. In the glorious grounds which surrounded his great palace, there was a beautiful orchard. Within this orchard stood one tree that was more special than all of the others, because it bore apples of pure gold. The Tsar delighted in strolling in this orchard, gazing upon the apples as they grew plumper day by day, and finally he would pick them. Only he was permitted to pick the ripe and golden apples, and should a golden apple fall to the ground while the Tsar was not present, he allowed only Eric, his trusted old gardener, to pick it up and bring it to him immediately. One day, to Tsar Vislav's horror, his guards brought him news that a golden apple had gone missing from his beloved golden apple tree. The Tsar was filled with rage to think that someone had dared to steal one of his apples, and in anger was directed towards his guards for the breach of security. "This must never happen again," bellowed the Tsar. "The culprit must be caught and punished. Bring me my sons and my gardener." The group gathered in the orchard, and as Eric the gardener approached, the Tsar could see that he was holding a glowing feather. It looked a little like the feather of a peacock, but it was the colour of a blazing fire, and he held it delicately at the tip, as it appeared to be alight. "Your Majesty," bowed Eric, "this clue tells us who has taken your golden apple. It was the Firebird. I had thought the existence of such a creature was just a legend, but I found this feather by the orchard wall, and it can only have come from a Firebird." The Tsar's 2 oldest sons sniggered at this, although they stared at the burning feather, obviously intrigued. "Whoever is taking my golden apple must be caught," declared the Tsar. "I will give half of my kingdom to the person who brings me the thief to me." Dmitri, the Tsar's oldest son, was quick to jump at a chance like this. "I shall keep watch in the orchard tonight, father, and I will bring you the thief by dawn." The Tsar did not look convinced by this. He knew all too well that Dmitri usually had little motivation to do anything other than drink fine wines and play cards with his friends, but he agreed nevertheless. At sunset, young Dmitri arrived in the orchard. He was wrapped up warmly, ready for the cold night ahead, and he settled himself under the apple tree, full of determination. Dmitri had been partying the night before, and inevitably, he found this boring night watch extremely dull. His eyelids grew heavy, and though he jolted himself awake a couple of times, it was not long before he fell into a deep sleep. He snored loudly, and the next sound he heard was the sound of his father's voice wailing in disbelief. "How can you have let this happen?" the Tsar cried. Dmitri rose to his feet, but he knew straight away that he had failed to stay awake, and that the thief had taken another of his father's apples. The following night, it was the turn of the middle son, Vasily, to catch the thief. He was not particularly concerned with gaining half of his father's kingdom. He was a dreamer and an extremely talented musician. Although he enjoyed his comfortable life in the palace, he had no desire to become richer. He brought with him to the garden a delicious range of nuts and treats and a flute to help the time pass more quickly. Vasily did much better than his older brother had done, as at 2:30 in the morning he was still dancing and playing lively tunes around the orchard. However, by 3 o'clock in the morning, he was slumped in an exhausted heap beneath his father's treasured tree. At some time between 3 and 6 in the morning, therefore, the thief must have struck again, because at 6 o'clock a very disappointed Tsar stormed into the orchard and woke Vasily with a sharp poke in the ribs with his flute. To make matters worse for poor Vasily, his nuts and treats had also disappeared. "Surely it is my turn now," exclaimed Ivan, the youngest son, as he met with his father later that day. "I should be allowed my chance to catch the thief." "I see no point, Ivan," replied the Tsar. "You're a good boy, but you are still so young and foolish. Why would you be able to catch the thief when both your brothers have failed?" "Well, I can assure you," began the strong-willed prince, but his father was already waving him away with a look of annoyance on his face. Ivan made up his mind to keep watch that night in the orchard. At first he settled himself beneath the apple tree, but it soon became obvious to him that he was far too comfortable there, and that he would surely fall asleep just as his brothers had done. He decided, therefore, to climb up into the branches and to watch from there. The night felt long, and at times Ivan longed to close his eyes just for a minute. However, he resisted, and he was duly rewarded, for at about 3:30, the whole orchard suddenly lit up with a soft, rosy orange hue. Ivan was sure that the sunrise had already arrived. He felt a sensation of warmth in his cheeks as he gazed upwards and saw the most remarkable sight. The thief had come indeed, and, as the gardener had suspected, it was the Firebird. Its enormous plumes were glowing brightly in the sky, shining with a mixture of yellows, reds, and oranges. Although Ivan's instinct was to gape in wonder at this glorious beast, he quickly stretched out to grab the Firebird as it reached with its arrow-like beak for one of the valuable fruits. The Firebird let out a huge squawk and frantically beat its wings in an attempt to fly upwards, away from Ivan's purposeful grasp. The almighty bird was just too powerful for Ivan, and it managed to escape, leaving Ivan holding only a gleaming feather. That's the end of chapter 1. Now get on with the worksheets.